I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
We're here to handle the business, not let the business handle us. That's what we are elected to do, sir. So please.
It's her fault. It's her problem, her responsibility, and she failed. She's failed everybody.
Small town politics are often filled with drama, but the recent scandal involving Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard has reached a whole new level. Allegations of corruption, massive misuse of public funds, and a federal investigation have turned this into an unfolding saga. And as if that wasn't enough, rumors are swirling about a new lawsuit that could bring charges for the theft of over $2 million. So what's really happening in Dalton, Illinois, and how did things spiral so far out of control?
Feel the anger tonight at a Board of Trustees meeting in Thornton Township. The board and citizens looking for accountability to their finances while the township super...
Let's dive into the latest bombshell. Former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot, appointed as a special investigator, has just released a stunning report that's sending shockwaves through the community. Her findings reveal that Dalton's financial situation has deteriorated significantly under Mayor Henyard's leadership. The village, which boasted a general fund balance of over $5 million in 2022, is now staring down a deficit of more than $3 million in 2024. This isn't just a minor setback, it's a financial freefall, and taxpayers are demanding to know where their money has gone.
That is the finding of an investigation of village finances and the spending habits of beleaguered Mayor Tiffany.
The details of the spending are absolutely shocking. Since taking office in 2021, Mayor Henyard is accused of using village credit cards for extravagant purchases, and we're talking far beyond office supplies. One of the most egregious revelations comes from a single day in January 2023 when over $40,000 was spent on Amazon. Yes, you read that right, $40,000 in just one day. And that's only the beginning. There were also charges at retailers like Wayfair, Walgreens, and Target, all at the taxpayer's expense. One trustee, clearly outraged, called it a slap in the face to the entire community.
Would make a one-day purchase of over $40,000 to Amazon. And the main thing is,
what's even more outrageous is the apparent lack of oversight on these purchases. Lightfoot's investigation reveals that receipts for many of these transactions were either incomplete or entirely missing. In fact, across 6 village credit cards, there was almost no documentation to support the spending. This lack of transparency raises serious concerns about how Henyard was able to engage in such reckless spending for so long, and more importantly, who else may have been complicit in allowing it to continue. It appears that the village's financial controls were either woefully lax or completely disregarded, making it all too easy for funds to be misused without anyone sounding the alarm.
The reasons I won't know when we go through our board packets, it's like, some of this stuff, it's like you don't know exactly what it's for, and then when you ask the question, there's no...
The spending spree didn't stop with online shopping. Lightfoot's report also revealed that Henyard racked up thousands of dollars in restaurant bills, often at high-end venues where extravagant dinners were held. While some of these meals were supposedly for meetings or business discussions, insiders claim that little, if any, actual government work took place. Instead, Henyard is said to have used these gatherings to cultivate political allies and reward her inner circle. One former staffer even went on record, stating that these dinners were more about socializing than addressing the village's real issues. If that's accurate, it's clear that Henyard was more focused on elevating her own status than solving the problems facing Dalton residents.
Do not handle anything as relates to with credit cards. As you heard me speak today in my board meeting, I do not handle that.
Some of those charges are for you, though.
No, sir.
And speaking of status, let's talk about the billboards plastered all over Dalton. You can't miss the giant posters featuring Henyard's face with slogans like "The People's Choice" and "Fighting for You." While it's not unusual for politicians to promote themselves, the sheer number and size of these billboards is raising eyebrows. Critics argue that Henyard is using taxpayer money to run a permanent campaign, all while the village's financial situation continues to deteriorate. Some even draw comparisons to tactics used by authoritarian leaders who saturate public spaces with their image to remind everyone who's in charge. It's a level of self-promotion more suited to a dictator than a small-town mayor.
I'm about to address some things as the supervisor. There will be no comments, there will be anything. It will be me addressing you guys and tell you what's...
As if the optics weren't bad enough, Henyard's critics have pointed out that she seems to be living a life of luxury while the village struggles to pay its bills. Alongside her lavish travel and dining habits, reports suggest that she often travels with a personal stylist and makeup artist, an image far removed from the humble, hardworking persona she tries to project during public appearances. While there's no official confirmation of how these services are being paid for, many residents suspect that taxpayer money is footing the bill, adding yet another layer to the growing scandal. If true, this would only reinforce the notion that Henyard has been using her position not to serve the people, but to line her own pockets.
Were you?
It's not paid by them.
Did you fly first class to Las Vegas?
Any other questions?
But things take an even more bizarre turn with Henyard's response to all of this. Rather than offering apologies or explanations, she's digging in her heels, insisting that she's being unfairly targeted because she's a black woman in power. In a fiery public meeting, she lashed out at her critics, saying, "You all should be ashamed of yourselves because you all are black, and you all sitting up here beating and attacking a black woman that's in power." While some might argue that she's using race to deflect from the real issues, others believe she's trying to divert attention from the growing mountain of evidence against her. And it's not just about the credit card spending. Lori Lightfoot's investigation also revealed that Henyard has been using public funds to finance luxury trips, staying at expensive hotels and flying first class, all at the taxpayers' expense. From New York to Atlanta, the receipts are adding up, with one trip alone costing over $9,000 at the Four Seasons Hotel. Critics are calling her out for living a life of luxury while the village sinks further into debt. In a town where the median income is just $24,000 a year, how is it possible for the mayor to spend thousands on first-class travel and five-star accommodations? The optics are terrible, and the outrage is unmistakable.
The government always does it, is to go and investigate people around her, and that's what they're doing.
But this isn't just about financial mismanagement. Henyard's tenure as mayor has also been tainted by accusations of bullying and retaliation against political opponents. The reports suggest that she targeted local businesses that refused to support her campaign, using her power to punish those who didn't comply. One business owner claimed his trucking company was targeted after he stopped donating to her political fund. He alleged that village officials fabricated charges against him, ultimately leading to the shutdown of his business. "Is she Nino Brown?" he asked, referencing the notorious gangster from New Jack City. In an odd twist, Henyard reportedly showed up to a village meeting dressed as that very character, with a DJ playing "Better Have My Money" as she made her entrance. It's almost too bizarre to believe, but multiple sources have confirmed the spectacle.
Fired her chief of police late last year without any approval from the village board. So now Robert Collins has filed a lawsuit against the village.
As if that weren't enough, Henyard has also been accused of using the village's police force as her personal security detail. And it's not just a couple of officers here, and their reports claim she has as many as 6 officers assigned to her at any given time, racking up hundreds of hours in overtime. In one instance, an officer with a base salary of just over $70,000 ended up earning over $100,000 in overtime alone. Critics argue that while residents are facing real safety issues such as the recent shooting that left 4 people injured, Henyard has been more focused on safeguarding herself than addressing the community's urgent security concerns.
I don't believe that is legally correct. That's just not the way municipalities operate.
Then there's the issue of the missing checks. In her investigation, Lightfoot uncovered that over $6 million in checks were printed and approved but never sent out to pay vendors. That's $6 million in goods and services the village owes, yet the vendors have received nothing. The financial mismanagement is so severe that federal investigators have reportedly stepped in, with an FBI probe now underway. So what does Henyard have to say about all this? She's hardly staying silent. In fact, she went live on Facebook for over an hour in a rambling tirade, during which she promised to seek the arrests of her critics. "I will be seeking arrests for individuals involved," she declared, though she didn't specify what crimes they allegedly committed. It's a bold move, especially considering she's facing her own legal troubles, including multiple lawsuits from village trustees who accuse her of forging checks and withholding financial records. It seems that every time someone tries to hold her accountable, she responds with even more aggressive tactics. As if things couldn't get any worse, Henyard is now facing eviction from her own home. Yes, you read that right. The mayor of Dolton, who makes nearly $300,000 a year from her roles as both mayor and Thornton Township supervisor, hasn't been paying her rent. Her landlord claims that Henyard and her boyfriend, who also works for the township, haven't paid since August and have even changed the locks to keep him out of the property. The landlord has filed for eviction, and sheriffs have been trying, but so far unsuccessfully, to serve the papers. It's hard to see how Henyard will weather this storm, with federal subpoenas already issued and the village's finances in disarray. It seems only a matter of time before the full extent of her actions is uncovered. Yet, she remains defiant. In a recent Facebook post, Henyard announced her intention to run for re-election, despite the mounting controversies. "I am running for re-election for mayor of Dalton," she declared, claiming that residents would overwhelmingly support her because they know the truth. Whether that's accurate remains to be seen, but one thing is clear: Henyard isn't backing down without a fight. As we await the next chapter in this unfolding saga, it's hard not to wonder how things got so out of control. Was it sheer greed that led Henyard down this path, or did the power simply go to her head? More importantly, what will it take to restore trust in Dalton's government? With the FBI investigation still ongoing and more lawsuits on the horizon, this story is far from over. Will Henyard face the consequences of her actions, or will she manage to slip through the cracks once again? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Is Tiffany Henyard the most corrupt mayor in America, or is she being unfairly targeted by her political enemies? And what should happen next? Should she step down or fight to clear her name? We'd love to hear from you.